Well, here she is, a Mark IV Factory 5 with the body off. She's a roller, and she has been for the last year and a half. I just took the body off to do some cleanup and some wiring issues that are easier to fix when the body's off. And this is a donor-based vehicle. You can see lots of Mustang parts, the lower control arms on the front suspension, the radiator. The engine is from a 93 LX. I blinged up the intake manifold a little bit, added a 5-liter Cobra manifold over the top of that, just for show, and I didn't really do anything more. I guess I did change the injectors. The 19-pound OEM injectors were replaced with 24-pound injectors, and consequently I also had to modify my mass airflow sensor to accommodate the larger pound injectors. I'm using the Ron Francis wiring setup, and a Factory 5 EFI setup, because the donor wiring was way too much trouble. You can see some of the work that I've done here on the alternator by replacing the OEM components and going with a serpentine style. I replaced the power steering pump, the pulleys, and the alternator. Have some new brackets. Have a reverse water pump polished. It looks just to add some nice look to it. I did go with the power boost from the Mustang, which required this modification here, where you had to actually change the frame to accommodate the boost. I'm glad I did, because the brakes are very smooth and easy to the touch. Lots of fun with the wiring here. You know, I've installed these turn the fan light off so you can see it or hear me. I've installed these illumination toggle switches, which basically trigger a relay, and then the relay turns on the main power. With the mini toggle switches and the relays, I'm adding about 1.1 amps of draw when all of them are engaged at the same time, which rarely happens. When would you have, your hazards, your fan lights and your wipers and your high beams and your funky lights on all at the same time? So probably on average it's a 500 milliamp draw on the current, and the 1 amp or the 100 amp alternator and the Optima yellow top seem to handle that just fine. I did make some cutouts underneath the dash here. It's a little cubby hole under the stereo, and had a custom made brass, what do you call that, stainless steel bracket made for that. And then same over the rear, I made a little cutout here as a hideaway space. I put the bass speaker back there, and had a little bracket made for that. I had the trunk separator unit here. I can't remember who made that, but one of the folks on the forum did, and that allowed me to have that cubby space back here and install the neon. Then in the trunk here, I've got the secret compartment here, because the Mustang tank allows for, doesn't utilize the space efficiently, which leaves you enough space to put in this secret hideaway here in the trunk, which is nice. I also have some jumper units here in the back. I don't know how well you can see that with this dark image here, but just if I need to jump the battery, I can do it right there. There's some terminals there. I do have the cutoff switch I installed. There's the amplifier, and the amplifier just comes out with these thumb screws, and underneath the amplifier sits hidden away my Optima yellow top, which is kind of a nice place for it. And I did go with the wider size 11 by 17s in the back, which means I had to also change my axles out to accommodate a 5-lug. And yeah, it's a donor with lots of customizations to it. And it's a runner. I've got about 2,500 miles on it. And, you know, maybe tomorrow I'll fire it up and let you know how it sounds. I mean, it sounds awesome. And I desperately miss driving this thing, given that it's 79 degrees here in Dallas in January. Anyway, thanks all of you for joining the web page. I hope you find it useful in your build and inspirational along the way. Good luck to you out there, and I'd love to hear your comments about my build. Thank you. I'm your admin, signing off.